Hi everyone, I'm Lalatendu, CEO of Performics India and part of Publicis Commerce. As you may have noticed, there's a lot of excitement about ONDC and how ONDC is democratizing commerce by bringing buyers, sellers, and other participants on a truly open network. In this video, we are going to explore our ONDC from the perspective of marketers and try to understand the opportunities and risks. This is an abridged version of my discussion with Mr. T.Koshy, CEO of ONDC, and Mr. Arvind Gupta, co-founder and head of Digital India Foundation. Let's dive in.
Two objectives. One is to make all sellers, all MSMEs, all Kirana shops be able to really empower themselves to sell to the world, to the local markets in a more digitally efficient way. That's the first objective. We are not looking at, we are not looking to make money out of this, right? It is a public good. And being a public good, it is there to serve the sellers as number one. Two, we want to ensure that buyers have plenty of choice. So if you ask me what are my success KPIs, we want to ensure more and more buyers are able to do things which they were not right now able to do with the existing technologies, solutions, platforms available, and they have choice. And vis-a-vis sellers who are not able to participate in this whole digital revolution, the e-commerce revolution, the e-tail revolution, because of prohibitive costs for them or difficulty in using it, managing different apps, are able to come online in a much easier, faster way. So for us, success is really how many small shopkeepers, MSMEs we are able to digitize, and how many new buyers we are able to get, and how many transactions they are doing with it.
Probably would have realized that what we are attempting to do is to provide practically equal opportunity to every seller and every buyer in a network, in an open network. Going a little deeper, if you really look at today's e-commerce landscape, the way it has sort of evolved anywhere in the world, not just in India, is that there are some proprietary network using proprietary technology connecting the services from left side to the seller to the right side to the buyer, which meant that any entity who has managed to get a significant hold on the consumers, either on the buyer side or the seller side, now would be able to benefit from a network effect that it will be practically impossible for any other entities to unseat them. So that's why you see in any domain there will be two or three entities having 70 to 90% market share, and the market share continuing.
You see, India has about 85 crore people who use a smartphone, are empowered with a smartphone. But a very, very small fraction of them actually buy things online. The UPI growth has shown that is almost 35 crore people who transact regularly on UPI. But that number is hardly 7 to 8 crores when it comes to e-commerce. So, and why? Because we have really not reached to Bharat. And ONDC wants to democratize e-commerce by taking it to the masses and offering services through the startup ecosystem, through innovators on top of ONDC, which offer localized, language-based services, and which is also very, very incentivized for the sellers to sell. It does not charge an arm and a leg to come on the platform and sell on the platform. So ONDC, it's not a platform by itself, it's a network. We are an enabler, but we are democratizing e-commerce. And the 4.3% of retail that happens online, we believe it will move up to the range of 15 to 16% in the next 4 to 5 years.
If you look at it from a seller side today, a couple of interesting issues that come. One is that the way the proprietary walled gardens work out is that they have a way of getting a lot of buyers online by multiple means of attracting them and make them practically in a way addicted to that the environment, even maybe throwing some shareholders money at them in terms of discounts and so on and so forth. So you get a very sort of significantly large pool of buyers who are all willing to act upon the way you would like them to act upon. So like the regulators say, you end up being the monopsony, which gives you a significant control on the brands and the products, and then it put enormous pressure on the sellers, their margins, and their competitiveness, and the information availability, and sometimes even self-preferencing and so on and so forth, which happens in the time.
Yeah.
So the way that we are, in a simple way, what we are attempting to do, is very simple, straightforward. We said, can we enable a mechanism of unbundling and making it interoperable so that the various building blocks of transactions can be handled by specialized entities individually or collectively, and they can all be nicely stitched together using a protocol so that the seller and the buyer will have a seamless experience of commerce. That is the foundational vision which is being done. The ultimate long-term vision, that is an open network which the democratized can bring in, is that every product owner, who has something for product or service, can make their catalog visible to this open network, which is visible to every buyer, every buyer there.
As I said, the whole democratization, what it does, it creates more choice both for the buyer and for the seller. But as a non-rent seeking network, which means there is no cost of the whole end-to-end cost that the network is charging. Of course, the buyers and the sellers will charge their lead generation fees. The sellers will charge their, their costs. But we believe that will bring down the overall cost to the seller a lot more than any of the current existing technologies have been able to do. So, it's a cost at the end of the day. Many problems like they were solved by UPI. What it has shown that you don't need to really charge a lot of, you don't need to really do a lot of rent seeking, but innovation on top of it. So India is the golden mantra of this is do a lot of volume transactions, make a little bit size of money in it. So there is a lot more money to be made in that in India rather than just serving the top of the pyramid and charging them a huge commission. Somebody is paying for that commission. Mostly it's the consumer. It's hidden cost somewhere or the other. So if we democratize it, make more levelized and bring it down as much as possible, both the consumer benefits with lower cost and the sellers benefit by paying less commission.
If there is any study, the answer is no. But look at the because it's something new as you yourself identified. But let's look at the components of transaction. Now, you look like somebody, supposing you are a seller side platform, okay, or seller aggregator, or you could be, if you are a reasonably large enough brand, you could be your own seller side platform with your own catalogs being digitally visible, using your ONDC protocol, which is not a big cost at all. Okay. So essentially, your cost is only digitization of the catalog and making it available using a protocol. Because you are not the one who's going to invest in getting the buyers in the sense to acquire buyers. Buyers are, if you are there, buyers are visible, the buying application will come. So if you look at the seller side, I'm just looking at the various costs on the seller side, that cost related to the need for being huge, buying to build up huge scales and buying to onboard customer, etc. comes down. So his charges can definitely be much more reasonable. And secondly, there could be competition. It's not that if you have as a platform charges supernormal profit, I will come and say that, boss, I can give you something a reasonable price. Similarly, on the buyer side, he doesn't have to go around doing all the seller acquisition and so on and so forth. So he has his focus is on getting his buyers buy. So his cost structure also reasonable and come lesser. Third is logistics. Again, if you remember, logistics also becomes a service and available. So there could be multiple logistics operators providing the kind of service that is needed in a more competitive fashion. Even in the pilots, etc., that we are running, I can see that these platforms appear to be following the similar mindset.
Brand safety is also related to the genuineness of the retailers or the sellers. And we are putting together an exhaustive review mechanism, reporting mechanism, which where if we find fake products, will not only ban that particular, of course, remove the particular product, but also ban the sellers who are doing that. And being a centralized repository, the repercussions can be very vast. They will not be able to sell on so many different other platforms. So I think while we can't wish away that problem, but we have to solve for it. And when we are solving for it, this is one way of making sure that not the products by themselves, but the people who are listing those products are blacklisted.
Every network participant is expected to behave in certain responsible fashion.
Okay? Yeah.
And failure to behave in that responsible fashion can lead to penalties and suspension and so on and so forth.
That's a great view because I think what you're trying to bring in is the brand, also into this whole equation. And I think it dwells upon some thinking and some answers. Is, in my view, brands who want to enable themselves and through the retailer, the distribution network, to be more hybrid and really take the benefits, as I call, of the digital revolution, will find themselves coming directly or through the sellers or through their own apps onto the system and be able to really monetize this large Bharat base the way they have not done it before, and in a very, very neutral manner, unbiased manner, which basically means they will get discovered on merit. So that's the true democratization, rather than on opaque, paid, intransparent algorithm. Well, we don't have that because that's something we don't want to control. It's again, as a democratic thing, a buyer and a seller app controls that. But we believe it will be down substantially. Two, we intend to embark upon a lot of impact studies to be able to do before and after analysis. And I think once we have more cities going live, we'll be able to come out with better numbers on that. So watch this space for that. And it again has an important context and important answer, because first of all, ONDC is data light. We're not going to take data. Data is owned by the buyers and the seller apps. We are not in the business of collecting data. But there will be aggregate transactional level, SQ level, geographic data, which may tie in with the non-personal data policy of India. We may make it open for insights in a clean room, certified clean room format, where people can run their algorithms on it, and that can be offered as a service in the future. Something for the future. Right now, I think we have to cross a lot of steps before we reach there. But as storing data, it's not that we are in the business of doing that. It's going to be very data minimalistic, and it's between the buyers and the sellers, apps on both sides, to store their respective transactional data. Well, there will be, of course, like any other system. We have a responsible commerce group which will be looking into that, and it is also a consumer rights issue that we are selling the right product. So as I said, there is a constant review mechanism that is going on, and what we have seen from past data on other platforms is there's a lot of fakes, there's a lot of duplicates, there's a lot of wrong items that are sent to consumers. We want to also slowly through our aggregated review mechanism to be able to solve for that. Well, when this report comes out, it will be October or early November. Hopefully, by now we should be going beta testing in at least 1 to 2 cities, and then our intention is, based on those learnings, to go. We have 12 cities where we are going pilots right now, but we have not gone beta live in the whole city. So we want the 2 cities want to become 12 cities by December as beta live, and that whole city can participate. And I think that's the gradual process of learning. And as I say, walk, jog, run. So that's the walking process. And the walking process, we want to take time, because we don't want to quickly get into the jogging and the running without doing a proper walking. If I enunciate the amount of learnings we've had, I think we will take the next 1 hour in just discussing that. There's a constant, any product development, any technology development would be wrong if you don't take the technology feedback, the product feedbacks, the market feedbacks, the policy feedbacks, the amount of feedback that we are taking to incorporate while we are solving one of the most difficult problems the world has seen in terms of democratizing e-commerce is mind-boggling. So kudos to the team. That is a very startup team inside ONDC, which is taking a lot of hits on the chin as positive feedback and actually solving for it.